Can all the real Slim Shady lovers please stand up? Please stand up. So there's been a lot of talk about Eminem's latest track, Houdini, and it's actually believed to have suppressed Drake on Spotify in areas of monthly listen count. And I think that's because a combination of things. People who love Eminem really love Eminem, and the song's kind of like very nostalgic, and it gives you that era of back when everything seemed a little bit more simpler. It seemed a little bit better. Hip hop and rap just seemed more pure. It just seemed, just more exquisite. But in all honesty, I think also the fact that Kendrick Lamar literally took Drake out with that last month's back and forth of diss tracks, that Eminem just kind of hit his stance at the right point. So I thought this was a perfect time to look at his birth chart. And I've read his birth chart before on areas of healing journey, but today I really want to read it in the area of who he is as a artist. So Eminem is a Libra sun. He has a life path of number 1, and he was born on October 17th in 1972 in St. Joseph, Missouri. That's what we have. So he is a Libra sun at 24 degrees, and he also has a moon in Aquarius. And it is believed that he was born at 11:04 a.m., which would make him a ascendant in Sagittarius. His dominant house placements include his first house and also his 11th house and 10th house. And what I've been noticing is people with dominant areas on the 10th and 11th really have an area of creating some success in their art. If it's singing, songwriting, if it's, whatever it is that they do, if you have a lot of planetary alignment in the area of the 10th and the 11th and even the 2nd, there's a high possibility you're going to be very successful at whatever it is that you do. One of the things that stands out to me about his chart is that he has his moon in Aquarius in the 3rd house, and I think as we see it right here, that's one of the reasons why he was very outspoken in a lot of his songs, and he almost seemed like very centered around getting his emotions out and allowing the collective to see that area of communication that he had to express. He is centered around being a little bit of, he wants you to see the real him, but then he's also not like a I wouldn't consider him a huge social butterfly. Another reason why I think he's not a huge social butterfly is the fact that he has in his 7th house his Saturn, which is placed with Gemini. And we know that Saturn brings a lot of constriction in areas of contracts. I'm not surprised he had issues with his marriage, especially with the Saturn being in the 7th house of partnerships, where it also has like this direct area of creating tension in the areas of marriage, constriction, and it seemed to have a lot of areas of kind of that dynamic where it really was opposing who he was in certain things and certain areas of creativity. When I look at his 2nd house, I see that it is held with Capricorn and his Jupiter is in there. The 2nd house in areas of Capricorn lets me know that he is very strong as a leader in areas of creation of material gains, and having his Jupiter there really makes it feel just a little bit more abundant for him. Like, in all honesty, I feel like Eminem can do a full comeback, which he's already proven, and a lot of people are going down that nostalgic rabbit hole to find like who he was, especially the Gen Z who just basically didn't live in that era, like me, a Gen X, and they're finding why Eminem was really considered one of the best rappers of all time. When I look at his area of Neptune and it being in the first house aligned with his Sagittarius at 3 degrees and three in Sagittarius, this lets me know that he is centered around an area of moving forward in his dream state. I feel like his story of like growing up in a home that had a lot of family dynamics and wasn't really considered like beneficial. He had these very big dreams and he continued to pursue them. And because these dreams were like a part of him, and he is lucky in that aspect where he was able to continue to work very hard. But the fact that he is so talented, let him continue. And what I like about a Neptune in Sagittarius is it's almost like you are blindfully naive. And when you're blindfully naive and you have that energy of you're just going to do it and F what everybody else thinks, sometimes it could create huge success, which it did with him, where with other people, this blindfold type naive persona can actually get them in some trouble. But with Eminem, he did it very successfully because that is who he is. When I look at his 11th house, which is known as the collective house, what the collective sees, he has his Mercury in Scorpio. So I'm not surprised he brought up a lot of stuff that made people very, very, very uncomfortable. And this is usually stuff that people would keep as like hidden secrets. A lot of artists might not want to talk about situations that seemed very deep, like Munchausen syndrome, areas of receiving public assistance, growing up in a trailer park, the dynamics between him and his mother, the dynamics between him and his ex-wife. But he was able to do it in a way where it almost felt like he was sharing his life story with you, allowing you to see that dark energy of the diary, of the mind, of who he is, without it feeling. I just feel like this Mercury in Scorpio can feel very destructive, and it could also feel very beautiful at the same time. It is like that dark, beautiful energy. And with a Mercury in Scorpio, I'm not surprised he allowed us to see a lot of the secrets. When I look at his 10th house, the area of his legend, he's obviously an icon. Like, Eminem is a legend. He's an icon. We can never, ever, ever really say he's not. Like, he is definitely one of the best. If he isn't the best, I honestly think he is, between him and Kendrick Lamar, he's like one of the best lyricists. And we see that energy in the 10th house. We see it with Mars, and we also see it with his sun area and also Pluto. And this is all aligned with his area of Libra. And then we also see it with his Uranus. So this area feels diabolical. It feels like there's that good and bad energy that we love so much. And we love seeing, a lot of us are tortured souls. And we love seeing that energy of what it is of overcoming and uplifting and moving past some of the most horrific things and horrible things. And we love the fact that he was able to create poetry in his area of his life stories so beautifully. And this is why he is so successful, is because all this energetic alignment really structures into who he is as an individual and the stories that he has and who he has become. And when I look at his Venus in Virgo, in the 9th house, in the area of more wisdom and philosophy, I'm not surprised that he has that area of like domestication, where I think there's a part of him who really yearns for just like a basic home life, like a basic nuclear family type home life. Like, that's a part of him, and I really hope that he has a companion or a soulmate. I know he doesn't express a lot about his relationships, but I really hope that he is able to find somebody on a personal and intimate level who sees and understands him. And I think that's something that he keeps private for those reasons, because it's all about the everyday life for him.